Your vacation isn't just calling you, it's begging you to take it to Branson and spend some time in one of 3 beautiful lakes, entertain it in a live show, and make sure it gets a good night rest in a cozy bed in one of the many wonderful hotels here in Branson. Hi, and welcome to Mid-South Viewpoint. I'm Byron Tyler, and I'm back in the studio here in Branson with my dear friend Lynn Berry from explorebranson.com. Lynn, it's another great day in Branson.
It is another beautiful day in Branson, and everyone is making their plans to kick off summer.
Yes.
And we have so many folks that are bringing us, their new season of their shows and their new additions at their attractions, and you need to check it all out at explorebranson.com.
It's all right there. Everything we're talking about on these shows, you can go to explorebranson.com and learn about the wonderful vacations waiting for you. You can make memories that'll last a lifetime right here with your family. We have a guest that I haven't had in the studio in a while. It's good to have Yakov Smirnoroff back with us. Yakov,
great to be with you, yes.
Welcome to Bond Radio.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Since your 1992 arrival here in Branson, you have played host to over 3 million visitors. How do you keep it fresh for not only your own enjoyment, for your audience also?
Well, first of all, I want to correct it. It's 6 million guests that came.
Well, thank you. I got it off your website, so we need to update that.
I need to update that, yes. Yes, and also I got here 30 years ago, May 22nd of 1993. It was my first show here.
Wow.
Yeah, just in case you want to celebrate it somehow.
That's right.
May 22nd is coming. Yes.
It's coming quickly.
Yes, exactly.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. 30
Happy
years.
anniversary.
I didn't think that I would be here that long. I came for a year, and then I left several times, but I feel like George from the movie It's a Wonderful Life, that who tries to leave but then stays and stays and stays and realizes that he's the richest man in town.
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Well, that's what I hear, Yakov. Everybody wants you to experience life here in Branson. You just keep coming back.
Yes, yes.
What really inspires you most when you're writing comedy for stand-up?
Well, it's my life. It's everything that's happening in the world. It's happening in my marriage. It's happening with my kids. All of those things that inspire my choosing my material. And the audience seemed to be very responsive to hearing real life stories of coming to America from the Soviet Union, living there in a very humble lifestyle, and then coming to America and learning the language. I mean, it's really a success story, and people kind of follow you for that. And then lately, I got my master's degree in psychology, and then got my doctoral degree from Pepperdine University.
Right.
So those are the things that I talk about, what I discover, and how I gift drop that in laughter. Right. And they get 2 hours of laughing, but it also touches their heart because they see a real human being going through ups and downs, and still standing.
Well, with that PhD, as you just mentioned, there's a course called The Business of Laughter that you teach at Missouri State University and Drury University. What's it like interacting with college students, and what have you learned about being a college professor to millennials?
Well, the colleges here are very wholesome, in my opinion. So it's not like somewhere on the East Coast or West Coast where these people want to learn how to live a better life, and I am teaching that.
Yes.
And I'm teaching them from biblical perspective. My whole comedy is rooted in God, family, country. So they appreciate it. I need to learn some of their language or their ways of talking about relationships or things like that. So I learned from them, some things that there's apps where you swipe things, and I had to learn stuff going, which way is the right way to swipe, thing. But it's fun because I really want to reach that young population, because they're the ones who can take this knowledge that I accumulated and then share it. So I'm very open, whoever is listening to you, to come to do some shows or lectures at churches. I'm very open to that. Or they can come here and get that. My churches are great groups to come because they walk out feeling proud.
Yes.
And the most common thing that I hear, thank you for reminding us what we have.
That's exactly what I experienced, Yakov, when I saw your show. It made me say, wow, this is what being American should be. And speaking of that, is today's America the same America that you left the Soviet Union to discover the American dream?
No, it's not. Branson is,
Yeah.
but not the rest. Yeah, wherever I travel, unfortunately, American dream, I lived it for a long time, and now when I'm looking at all the changes that are happening in terms of freedom of speech and freedom of religion, all of those things are not the way America used to be.
What does that do to you? I mean, seeing signs that are similar to what you grew up in the former Soviet Union, right?
Yeah. Well, it does a couple of things. One is to get out from Los Angeles. So get away from there and come to a place where they still preserve America. People, when they come here, they say, well, this is the way America used to be. I believe this America ought to be. And so living here and traveling the world and still coming back here and going, small town, but boy, we have a good life.
Yes.
We do.
You and your wife, Olivia, have family in the Ukraine.
Yes.
It's been over a year since the war started with the Russian invasion. With your family's safety in mind, I know, what other concerns do you have about the situation in Ukraine as the war continues?
I don't know. My point of view is probably differ from a majority of mainstream media. I believe that America should should negotiate peace and not to pour more gasoline on the fire, but nobody's listening. So at this point, I'm very concerned because my family and my wife's family was able to get out, and they're in Europe. So we're sponsoring them for this whole time, for a year and 2 months, whatever, and we'll probably continue that. But I think it's going to be really bad in the next couple of months.
Yes.
I think escalation is happening, and something will happen that will affect all of us even more.
Our prayers definitely for the people of Ukraine and the whole situation. In the home, back in Russia growing up, was it your mom or dad who had the sense of humor?
I think they both did. Dad was initiating. Mom was more of the audience, and then my dad kind of got me on board to make some jokes, and Mom would not necessarily always get. So that would create more laughter. But I was very lucky to be able to be in the family. I remember when I was probably 10 or so, and mom was a teacher, and she was helping me with my homework. And I said, Mom, where did people come from? And she said, well, there was Adam and Eve, and then they had a baby, and people multiplied. And I go to my dad, and I said, where did people come from? And he said, well, there were monkeys, and monkeys evolved. That's how we got people. So that evening, we're having dinner, and I said, Mom, how come you say there was Adam and Eve? Dad said there were monkeys. My mom said, I was talking about my side of the family.
I love it. It. That's so good. Do you remember the first joke you ever told?
I guess it was, I don't think it was meant to be a joke, but it got my parents to laugh because we lived in a communal apartment with 9 families in one apartment with one kitchen, one bathroom. So we were in a very tight quarters. And so I was a young kid, maybe 2.5 or something like that. And I remember, my parents, if they wanted to be fooling around or being intimate or whatever, they would send me, go, look out the window, look out the window. So I go look out the window, and then my dad says, so what do you see in the window? I said, our neighbors being romantic. And he said, how can you tell? I said, because their son is looking at me. And my parents laughed, and that really was kind of addicting in a way, because I was like, wow, what did I do? What did I say that got this adults laughing? So that's how it started.
As we've been doing all these years here in Branson, entertaining so many millions of people, your show now, what's happening? What's new? What can we expect coming to Branson and seeing Yakov?
Well, last 20 years, I've been focused on helping people have better relationships. So happily ever after is the gift that I try to help people understand that they, in the honeymoon stage of the relationship, they create a lot of love and laughter. And it happens to everyone. I asked over 6 million people, and I was saying, how many of you remember laughter being part of that honeymoon stage? Right. And they all applaud. And then I asked, how many of you would go on the second date if you didn't have laughter on the first date? No one applauds.
That's right.
So we're using laughter to really understand, are we with the right person? That's the first step, right? No laughter, no second date,
yeah.
Right? So I've been researching it from standpoint as a doctor, as a professor. I was curious: is there a formula for laughter? And it's actually there is, and I use it with my audience every day. I believe every business that's successful uses that. And basically, that's simple. You understand the needs of the other person. Mm-hmm. And that will create love. Yeah. If you're meeting the needs of the other person, it will create love. Wow. Right? Yeah. You add humor to it, just a little, and then you got laughter. Mm-hmm. It's so simple, 3 elements. So I use my second act. It's all about gift of happily ever after. Yes. And I make sure that they walk out feeling, and it's fun to watch when people are in the audience. They come in and they're kind of, preoccupied with things, or they're kind of looking around. And as I start talking about it, I could see they're getting closer, body language, like, now they're holding hands.
That's
they
beautiful.
Put their arm over. It just makes me feel so good. Yeah. And then walk out happier. And but they just came to laugh, but they also got something way more valuable.
Oh, Yakov, that is so beautiful. And what a needed message, Lynn,
yes.
for today's marriages that are on the brink so much,
That's right. With stress.
Yes, so much,
anxiety.
Just life, and hearing that message and being reminded what brings the couple together.
Yes.
When my wife and I have been married 39 years, just past Friday. Thank you. And we've had a lot of laughs.
That's right.
Yeah. But laughter, if you can look at that as a result, as a byproduct of meeting each other's needs, all of a sudden, you using it like, that's my gauge.
Yes.
If we're not laughing, something is not working right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we get tickets? When are show times here in Branson?
I do 3 shows a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. The best way to get tickets is yakov.com. It's YAKOV.com. Or call our number. It's 417-336-3838. And somebody will take your reservation, but online is fine as well.
Nice. Okay, Yakov, on a personal note,
yes.
What's your favorite summertime adventure in Branson?
Oh, boy. Probably Soda City to me would be I mean, that is, so when the guests come, that's where I take them. Yes. The other thing that it's a must see for churches especially is the Sight and Sound Theater.
Oh, yes.
It's just spectacular. We had a convention here a couple of last 2 weeks ago there. So I was promoting my show, but I would carry around with me the Queen Esther of Fulton. And I would sit down with a tour operator, and I said, I just want to tell you, my show is not the best show in town. And they go, who starts this way? I said, I don't believe that, but here's the best one. Now, if you have a second show that you have to go see, then come see me, but don't miss the Queen Esther.
Oh, I love it. Well, this has been great. Yakov, thank you so much for joining Bot Radio Network. It's been a great time to spend with you. As always enjoy having you stop by.
Thank you so much.